2018 John Deere 3025E with a D160 loader on the front end. As you can see, it's dirty. But the main purpose is I gotta get this thing cleaned up because we gotta change the oil on it. It's got 177 hours on it, hard-earned hours. It's time. So, gonna get it cleaned up and then I'll show you how to change the oil. Should be cool. Now she's rinsed off. It's not perfect, but it should be good enough for our purposes. You might ask yourself, well, why are you even messing with it? Well, there's a couple of reasons, and I'll explain as we get underneath it. So, hold on. So, the reason that you want to clean off your tractor, and please excuse the mess because I just shot the next video, so all that work I did next day. All that work that I did to clean it up, it's a little dirty again. But the reason that you want to clean all this stuff off is so you can actually come through. You'll notice I've got the bucket up. You want to be able to come through and inspect. You want to make sure that there's no leaks, there's no craziness. And also when you come through with your grease points, you need to be able to see that grease come through the bearing or the bushing. That's why you keep it clean. Now, how do we change the oil and service the tractor? Now, this isn't any specific service. It's just, I've got 175 hours on it. I need to do something. Now, I did my 50-hour service, so it's had all that done. And here's what I learned. Love John Deere, do great work, but it's expensive. It took me doing that one time to learn that I don't want to do that again. Now, we're not going to mess with the hydraulic oil on this. That's 5-gallon drain, and you're only supposed to do that every 400 hours after the first one. So we won't be doing that, but I am going to do an oil change. I'm going to grease all the little grease certs, and we're going to change out the fuel filter. So what do you need? It's nice and easy. Grease gun. All of my grease guns failed me, so I got a different one. All right, you're going to need. Now, I went with the John Deere stuff just because they're already there. Oil filter, fuel filter. I would recommend some funnels. I'm going to wear some gloves. You're going to need an oil filter wrench, 17 millimeter, 10 millimeter, 10 millimeter, 3/8 ratchet, grease. Now, this is nothing but the best. I found this in my grandpa's garage. Grease is grease. And catch pan. This is 2.5 gallons of nothing but the finest oil. John Deere oil, it's like 45 bucks for 2.5 gallons. That was 15. Don't tell anybody. The first thing that you're gonna have to do is raise your bucket. You need to be able to get to this stuff. The second thing you're gonna need to do is remove your little side panel. Come over to this side. It's this piece right here. You'll notice there's a bolt here. On the back side, should be able to see it, there's a little nut right there. Both of those are 10 millimeter. All you do is you undo those with your 10 millimeter wrench and ratchet, nice and easy. Then on the back side, there's a little clip right here. And it folds out. It turns and it goes into a little keyway back here. Pop it out. Be careful. It's metal. It will scratch. I don't really want my tractor looking too chunky. So now, let's drain the oil. There we go. break that loose. Now, this is the part that always, oh, by the way, you're gonna wanna run this for a little bit. They do recommend, all right, warming up the oil. So, okay, here we go. Blah. Okay, we're glugging. One other piece of equipment that you might need. Towel. Okay, this is the oil fill. Unscrew that. And it stopped glugging. I put the drain plug back in. I figure if you know how to take one out, you could probably put one back in. One little tip, don't crank down on that thing. That's just a little aluminum pan. Just a little aluminum pan. Crank down on it too hard, you'll strip it out, and then you got some real problems. And on top of that, it just makes it easier to change oil next time. So don't crank on it. Next thing we gotta do, I'm gonna pull this over here. We're gonna remove the filter. This is an oil filter wrench. If you're attacking this, you probably know what it is or how to use it. But in case you don't, get it on there like so. Ready, teddy, lefty loosey. John Deere felt like it should be on there like crazy. Okay. And now we're dripping. Please deposit in the closest receptacle. I know some of you are going to be tempted to use that old oil to lubricate that seal. Don't do that. We're changing it because the properties of it have been diminished. Use new oil. It's easy. All you do, unscrew, a little bit on your finger, there you go. Okay. Now, this is probably going to be a little messy. That's okay. Get it spun on there quick. You only drip a little bit. Use your towel to get purchase and screw it on. Now, don't use your filter plier because it'll damage the filter. You don't want to do that. Now, go through here, wipe all this up so you don't think that you got an oil leak. Now, let's put oil in this thing. Now, oil filter, or I'm sorry, fuel filter. Got the oil changed, level's good, A-okay. So, on these tractors, you've got this little fuel water separator, and mine looks pretty good. Usually you'll see sediment or something like that in the bottom. I don't really see any. Actually, it looks pretty good. Now, you want to make sure it's in the off position, okay? So what happens, fuel comes down this line right here from the fuel tank into this, into the fuel separator, comes back out, goes into that line, which comes around the backside, up to this. This looks like a little inline filter. It's not. It's the fuel pump. It runs up this line right here to this canister. This is your actual fuel filter. All right? So, now we need to get our handy dandy filter wrench, pull that one off. This one's kind of a pain in the butt because there's really no room for my particular type of filter wrench. But there we go, it's loose. You want to make sure you don't bang around the lines too much. And then I'm just going to move this pan because I'm pretty sure that's going to drip. Actually, oh no. Is that Chinese writing? Now, I'm no expert in Chinese hieroglyph, but I think that says made in Wuhan. What? Let's check the other filter. Yeah. Oh no, dun dun dun. By the way, the coronavirus doesn't make you shit yourself to death. Quit buying all the toilet paper. God. One thing you're gonna wanna do, you're gonna wanna put a little bit of diesel fuel right there. Same thing as the oil, just boop. Let's take this Wuhan filter off and put the new Wuhan filter on. Man, diesel fuel is the price of freaking gold. I just had to dump a bunch of it out. I don't really care for that. So, filter. Put that back on. Oh, you don't want to look at me, you want to look at the Wuhan filter. Okay. Now, we're going to do a little bit of wipe down here. Now, diesel fuel doesn't combust like gasoline does, so I'm not that worried about it, but I definitely don't want any just kind of hanging out, you know? So, let's wipe that down good. Okay. Now, come back here, turn that on, and now we try to start the tractor. It's good, no leaks, win-win. Now, what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna make this kind of quick because we're running a little long here. Right here, on all these little moving joints, are grease zerks. Grease zerks are where you put grease. They clip into the very end of that little thingy, and then you squeeze this little thingy and it blows grease in there. Once you see grease start to kind of seep out the backside of it, you're good to go. Now, I'm gonna show you, basically if there's a point that moves, there's probably a grease zerk. There's a couple of them that are maybe not quite so obvious. I'll show you those. Oh, if you've never actually done this before, you take the grease canister and you pop the end off of it and you'll see the grease in there. Then you take said grease, slide it into the gun that you've already pulled the plunger back, and you pop that top. And then you release the plunger. There you go, grease gun. I'm holding this camera at kind of a goofy angle because my camera stand is junk. All right, all you do is you clip it on there and then you squeeze. Just pump the handle. And then when you see grease start to protrude right about there, you have greased the joint. And you want to see it come out on both sides. Now, you just give it a little bit of a pull, and boom. Look at that. You're greased. Now, that's how you do it. Let me show you the one that I didn't know about until, a few weeks ago. It is actually right here. Now, that is the little trundle bearing that controls your side-to-side movement on your front axle. You definitely want to make sure that you get that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finish greasing this thing up. I'm going to finish putting this thing back together. And I'm going to go inside and have myself a beverage. It has been a long day. I have shot 2 videos. And I have moved all sorts of hot wire. So, if you like what I'm doing, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, all that good stuff. Y'all take it easy, be safe. See y'all around.